Hi, I'm Wayne and this is Bassador Woodworking. Today's project is creating a light diffuser for this light. I've been really conscious of evening out the light in the shop ever since I started making videos. And one thing that has improved the video quality a lot is adding this light right here. But I have found recently that it creates a lot of glare off of the metal surfaces in the wood shop, especially the table saw. So I'm only able to really shoot angles on the table saw from one direction. So I'm going to create a simple light diffuser to try to cut down on the glare created by that light. Like most projects recently, I'm going to try to utilize as much scrap material in this project as possible. To that end, I have this piece of plexiglass that I'm going to use as the actual light diffuser. I'm going to fog this using some matte finishing spray, and I'm going to then just build a simple wooden frame to hang in front of the LED light. That will hopefully diffuse the light enough that I don't get as hard a glare and everything. If that doesn't work, I have some other ideas, but I think this should work. The light is comprised of an array of 500 individually lit LEDs. There are switches on the back to change the pattern of LEDs that is lit to increase or decrease the intensity of the light. I found that where I have it mounted, I need to have it on pretty much full power to get light to disperse enough, but then it becomes too harsh, so that's where the diffuser is going to come in. So this array is 8 inches by 14 inches, so I'm going to make my diffuser a little bit bigger. So I'll probably make it about like 12 by 18. That way it can sit in front of the wings a few inches ahead of the light, and that should then soften the light hitting the table saw. I'm going to use lap joints for my frame, so I'm going to cut 2 boards down to 14 inches and 2 boards down to 20 inches. I want to have at least 12 by 14 on the inside of my frame, so I'm oversizing the outer frame. I'm now ready to cut the lap joints into each side of the frame. I've marked how far over each joint should go, so it's just going to be a couple of passes on each end with the radial arm saw. I have the depth set at the midpoint of these boards, so that should create a nice clean lap joint. Now it's time to cut the plexiglass down to its final dimensions. I'm first going to rip it down to 14 inches. I have a 60-tooth blade in my table saw, which should be adequate for cutting plexiglass. Typically, you want a higher tooth count because a more aggressive ripping blade will crack the edge on your plexiglass. Some people put tape and stuff on the edge that they're going to be cutting to cut down on cracking. I've never found that to work. I usually just use a 60-tooth or an 80-tooth blade in the saw when I'm cutting plexiglass. At that point, it almost just melts the plastic as it goes through. It does end up like shooting molten plastic at you, so never do this with short sleeves. It's kind of the only time that long sleeves are preferable on a table saw. Just make sure that they're tight to your arm and that they're not dangling and can't get caught in the blade. The plexiglass is now cut to its final dimensions, and I have peeled the protective coating off of both sides. I'm now going to use some Krylon matte finishing spray to give this a nice fogging on probably both sides. I've done this before and it's always given me really good results. I could have just left the protective film on it and it would have given me a little bit of fogging, but this will give me a much more durable and consistent fogging than the plastic that might peel off at some point. Now that the plexiglass is drying and the frame's glue is drying, I need to decide how I'm going to attach the diffuser to the light itself. I'm thinking about salvaging some parts from this pop filter from an old blue Yeti microphone that I had. I think that if I take the windscreen off of this, I can adapt it to mount to the wooden frame, and it will then attach to the frame of the light. So, gonna try that now. Cut a little piece of 1/8 inch steel. I'm going to drill the 2 holes in it, and then I'll bend it. I've put 2 1/8 inch holes in the piece of steel. Now I'm going to enlarge one hole to fit the arm, and then I will use that same bit to countersink the second hole. Okay, bracket is complete. So this will mount to the frame, and then this arm will mount to the light. The glass has about 5 or 6 coats of the matte sealer on it, so it's nice and fogged now. I'm going to now mount it to the frame, and then I'll clean the back side of it with some Windex just so that there's no debris on it. I have to be very careful when tightening to not over tighten and crack the plexiglass. If you do though, it's fine. It won't affect the diffusion of the light. Okay, it is complete. Now it's just a matter of attaching it to the light. And it's all done. It appears to be working very well so far. There is no glare coming off of the cast iron top of the table saw anymore. The only thing I might change is the mounting mechanism. That arm just isn't quite strong enough to hold up the frame on its own, so it is kind of slowly sagging. So I'll likely swap that out for something different. But other than that, I'm really happy with how it came out. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with new projects as they are released. And until next time, thank you.